Rockford's home for Classic Rocks, 96.7 The Eagle. Christmas is just around the corner. I know you don't want to hear it, but yes, it is. That means Siberian Orchestra is on the road. And joining me, Al Pitrelli. It's opening night, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is. And good to hear your voice, brother.
You too. So what does opening night mean for you? Is it anything different, or is it just a regular day?
There's nothing regular about my days. We've done the show about 30 times over the last 3 weeks. We run it about twice a day. So the thing is that opening night never really feels like an opening night because it's a perfect first show. And I don't want, Paul O'Neill taught me a long time ago that you don't work the bugs out on your first show. You work the bugs out weeks before. Perfect practice makes perfect. So when we open up the tour tonight, it's a first show for everybody in the arena, but it'll be our 31st run-through. And we approach it like that because I want it to go perfectly. His family, with their guidance and their support and their leadership, everybody is just going to be the most amazing event ever. And just listen, when I get by you, it might be our 114th show of the tour, but it's your first show. So every night we approach it like it's a first show.
Yeah, December 28th at the All-State Arena. Definitely looking forward to seeing Siberian Orchestra that day. You talk about the first show. Let's talk about if someone is going to see Siberian Orchestra for the first time, they're a rookie. I know it's hard to believe, but do you have any tips for them going into the show?
Hang on for dear life. No, the only thing I can tell them is you have absolutely no concept what you're in store for. I don't care how many YouTubes you've watched or what people have told you. Until you witness it firsthand in the arena, you don't get it. And once you're there, I get the biggest kick out of watching everybody's expressions change. Everybody thinks they know what they're getting themselves into when they walk into that building. They have no clue, and it's so much fun.
We're talking to Al Pitrelli from Siberian Orchestra. Is that the thing you look forward to most each and every show, is seeing the people's expressions?
I do, because, it's such a roller coaster emotionally. I mean, Paul O'Neill's story, The Ghost of Christmas Eve, is very important to so many people. A lot of folks in the audience relate to the story. The short version is it's just, a teenage runaway who's just trying to get home on Christmas Eve. She doesn't remember what she got in a fight with her parents about. She just wants to go home. And what I realized is everybody in the arena, everybody on stage, everybody below the stage, everybody misses somebody around Christmas, So I watch, the rejoicing and the jubilation at the front of the show, and then as the story's kind of unfurling, I watch people relate more and more to the characters. And, there'll be a couple tears shed, and of course, in a very Frank Capra-esque way, Paul O'Neill's always got a happy ending, so everybody's smiling and standing up and clapping. And, it makes my heart so happy to watch a grandfather hold his granddaughter, and they're both having the time of their lives in the third row in front of me, and they're smiling and they're high-fiving, and, ages 2 to 102 are represented in the audience, and people who wouldn't necessarily go to a rock concert or having the time of their lives, and people who wouldn't necessarily go to a Mozart symphony having the time of their lives. It's a huge contradiction. And it works beautifully every night. And
I think that's something our world needs right now. We need something that we can all relate to and we can all do together, no matter who you are or what you do.
Yeah, especially not costing a mortgage payment. I look at the prices of some of these tickets, and okay, that's great, but not at our show. I mean, for $50, you're going to get a great seat and a great show. And if you're in the back of the All-State, that doesn't matter. It becomes the front real quick because we have stages and hydraulics and lifts everywhere. So there are no bad seats in the house. And you can bring your family and have a great time and not break the bank.
What kind of amazing things can we expect this year?
Well, if you saw it last year, the only thing I could tell you is that, believe it or not, it's even bigger than it was last year. And I say it every year, and people go, that's an impossibility. I'm like, yeah, I know, but somehow it happens. And, the vision of Paul O'Neill and his family, the creativity, implementing it by the department heads, it's just when I saw this thing for the first time a couple weeks ago, I was like, you're absolutely kidding me, right? And the kick in the head is that, they got 30 days to build it for, the first show, and then tomorrow it's 6 hours to build it for the second show.
Wow.
And we have the greatest crew ever. and they will never, they'll never be late. They'll always have it ready to go perfectly every day, every time. They rehearse as much as we do, and that's why this thing works so well.
I'm talking to Al Pitrelli from Trans-Siberian Orchestra coming to the Allstate Arena on December 28th. Al, have you always been a Christmas guy?
No, Christmas is one of those weird holidays. Some people really look forward to it and can't wait. Other people, it's a little bittersweet. I kind of vacillate between both sides. I mean, growing up, it was all magical when I was a kid, and then, some things happen in your life that you're not enjoying the holidays as much. And Paul O'Neill taught me to love it for what it is all over again. And the fact that his music and using my guitar in a lot of it has become a lot of people's soundtracks to their holidays, gave me a whole new kind of love and appreciation for what the holiday is and the sense of family and friends and coming together and celebrating. And it's okay to miss people, I guess. At the end of the day, everybody does miss somebody, like we had said, and you're not alone in that thought or in that sentiment. There's other people who miss other people too, and it's okay to miss them, but just celebrate them.
You talked about the magic of Christmas when you're young and then the reality of becoming an adult. There comes a time where it's okay to gravitate towards that magic again and let it be a part of your life.
Yeah, especially when you got kids, because it's such a much more beautiful world through their eyes. They see everything for the first time. And if you kind of just stop in your tracks for a minute and watch how, my daughter, who's 2.5, you can probably hear her giggling in the background.
I do.
Everything is brand new, and I've decided to look at the world through her eyes again, and I enjoy it very, very much.
What's it like having her with you?
She's here with my wife. We've been here for about 5 or 6 days now. They came to visit, and they're going to come to the show tonight, and then they're going to go home, and because it's such a world when there's so many miles being driven, it's certainly not the place for the family to travel with you. So Nicole will bring the girls out again, I think, in Kansas City on Christmas Eve, and we'll have a couple days off there, and then they'll do the show again. But, you're talking about, tearing the show down at midnight, packing it into 20 tractor-trailers and 12 buses, driving 500 miles and getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So, we're out here to work and to focus, and I love when my family visits, but when they go back home, it's head down and let's do our job. The folks in your community want a perfect show. So,
when did you start putting together this year's show? Was it before last year's show ended, or do you get a little time?
Long before. I mean, they're already booking 2020 now. They're looking at routing and buildings and production ideas. It never stops. The O'Neill family, our management team, and everybody involved is constantly having discussions and plans and meetings and emails about what's going on. You don't plan this out in 3 months, dude. This takes years to put together.
The vision for this year's tour started months and months, maybe years ago. How close is it to that original vision?
Pretty much letter perfect. Whatever is thought up ends up being done, and that's what Paul taught us all for years. You're not supposed to have a flaming clock drop out of the ceiling in an arena.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to have a stage that can lift up and move across an arena. It's not supposed to snow inside an arena. Well, just everybody forgot to tell Paul that it can't be done. It all got done.
Right. There's no in the world of Paul O'Neill.
Nope. Absolutely. Listen, there's that old saying about the bumblebee.
Yeah.
You got NASA engineers who have proven that it's absolutely virtually impossible for a bumblebee to fly. The size of its body in comparison to its wings, there's no way that this bee can get off the ground and fly. Just nobody told the bee that, though.
No one told Paul O'Neill you couldn't do it.
Nobody told Paul O'Neill, and nobody, and his family, and now it's listen, I don't even ask anymore. I wait to walk into the arena at rehearsal for the first time and look up and go, this is awesome.
Talking to Al Pitrelli from Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And the other great thing about your whole organization is giving back to the community and each community you go to visit.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. At the end of the day, it's you guys buying tickets, and $1 from your pocket is going back into your community. But again, the O'Neill family, Paul, his wife Desiree, his daughter Ireland, these are the kind of people that they are. They've always been generous and caring and giving, and they want to change the world. And I remember walking around New York City with Paul night after night, and every time I turn around, he's handing somebody a $5, a $10, a $20, And he'd tell me, look, dude, the money's not going to change my life, but it has the potential of changing at least their day, which maybe it'll change that tomorrow and maybe nudge them onto a better trajectory. It's the holidays. There's people in need out there. Let's all, let's just make it a better planet. And, with the guidance of the O'Neill family, that's what this is all about. Just a dollar at a time or a song at a time.
And it just helps somebody feel better. If someone's having a bad day, they come to the show, they'll walk out. You can't help but walk out feeling better.
No, you can't. And that's all part of it because, that's what this is all about. It's not just a rock concert. It's a lot more. It's a rock concert and then some.
I'm talking to Al Pitrelli from Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Allstate Arena on December 28th. Thank you so much for taking the time. I look forward to seeing you on the 28th in Rosemont. Have yourself a great tour and a great holiday.
All right, my brother. You too. Much love, and I'll talk to you soon.
It's Rockford's home for Classic Rock, 96.7 The Eagle.